And welcome back to PSA TV. This is the Wake Up Call. Joining me on the line I have right now, he is the president of the Used Car Dealers Association and also the Automotive Dealers Association, Mr. Visham Babwah. Good morning to you, Mr. Babwah.
Hi, good morning to you and your staff. Good morning.
How are you this morning?
I am fine,
All right, so in a few days, in a matter of 6 days, we will see the fifth budget coming out there from the government. In particular, the Minister of Finance will be delivering the fifth budget. Your thoughts and expectations, if any, on this year's budget?
But this year's budget, I'm expecting a lot of goodies like everybody else, as they say, condensed milk, right? But what really needs to happen, besides the condensed milk, everything needs to fall in place. For the past 4 years, what this government has been elected to do, they did not do. But they have cut subsidies and subventions and spent a lot of money, but we have not seen anything for the taxpayers' dollars. We in the automotive industry had to bear the serious brunt of it, with the age of importation being restricted, and we had serious challenges with the forex. We had a lot of issues, right? However, what I would like to see for this budget is I would like to see the government take serious action, and not just by word, but by action I'm talking about, with regards to the climate change issue. They recently signed the Paris Agreement that by 2050, our carbon footprint has to be reduced by 50%.
Yes.
The only way this could happen is by the importation of vehicles that don't use fossil fuel. That is electric, hybrid, and e-power vehicles.
And I understand that you've recently imported. I'm not sure how many, but I recently understand that you've done that.
Yes. So remember, I started importing hybrid and electric cars in 2011. I have been forced to go out there on a limb when the government was not supporting anything. The ministries and the government they debunked that. They said that Babwah don't know what he was doing. They debunked it, and I went out on a limb. Although the taxes were very high in those vehicles, then I started importing them. Right, so I have been in the hybrid and electric cars since 2011. I have had trained people to repair and fix those cars, and up to today we haven't had any problem that we couldn't deal with. And I was just waiting now for the kilowatts, right? The kilowatts that the government give the exemption on, but that's to be increased, because with the hybrid vehicles, which works with gasoline and electric power, we are only given an exemption for vehicles up to 1599 cc, which is a very small vehicle. With the electric vehicle, 159 kilowatts, we could only get maybe 2 or 3 vehicles, electric vehicles, to come into this country without tax. And that is the purpose of an electric vehicle.
Yeah.
Because these vehicles are zero emissions vehicles. And if you give the exemption up to a higher kilowatts, more people will be able to purchase it for more reasons. And I'm looking forward for this government to put some serious effort into this. Because of the fact that when you give exemption only on 1599 cc, and you have people purchasing now a vehicle higher than 1599 cc, this is the hybrid version, and it is 3000 cc. The emission that vehicle is sending off, it negates the one for 1599 that you have given the exemption on. And the taxes beyond 1599 cc is over 100%. So if a person is buying a vehicle, for example, a 2-liter engine vehicle, and they are getting a non-hybrid one cheaper than a hybrid one, definitely they'll buy the hybrid one.
Yeah.
And this is what we have been singing to the government for years upon years upon years. Be it luxury vehicle, be it what. If you can't remove all the taxes, but do not have it at that high level where it has now become a deterrent. You are not collecting taxes and people are not purchasing it because it doesn't make sense. They just can't afford it. So they have to look at this from a holistic point of view and then reduce the taxes in accordance with the engine size and for the use of the vehicle.
So what you're saying is you hope to see something in favor of the car dealers in Trinidad.
Yes, with regards to, remember, in 2 years, we had two of our neighboring islands decimated by hurricanes, you know.
Yes.
And this is a very serious matter because of the fact climate change is upon us, and the officials, the government officials, are dragging their feet and hoping that nothing will happen to us. I mean, in the whole scheme of things in the world, everybody's talking about climate change. We recently had a lot of issues raised by our Prime Minister at the United Nations with regards to climate change. And we have to do our part with regards to this. Carbon emissions, a lot of carbon emissions in this country is given off through the vehicle population because we have a very big population of vehicles.
Yeah.
And the only way this could be reduced to meet that target of 30% by 2050 is by importing these vehicles. This is the only way. Otherwise, we'll just be fooling ourselves, having ministers go up to Paris and Japan or wherever and sign agreements. And it is of no value. It wouldn't even be value the paper it is written on. So they have to get serious with this. I have been lobbying for this since 2010.
Yes.
I mean, it is almost 10 years now. We have gotten some way, but nowhere where we should have been. As I always say, you know, when the simple man do something, it is not recognized. But because the conglomerate has not really gotten their hands fully on hybrid and electric vehicles, this is why the government is not doing the part that they have to do. Because they are all for the conglomerate. And this is what is holding back everything in this country with regards to the vehicle, the type of vehicle that we import.
Yeah.
Currently, I'm importing more than about 20 models of hybrid and electric vehicles. But we have to go beyond that because, as I tell you, we are talking about the commercial vehicles also. The amount of emission that a commercial vehicle gives off is 3 times the amount a small car will give off. So you have to look at that aspect of it also.
Let's talk a bit about a meeting you had yesterday with the various ministers.
Well, we had a workshop session yesterday at the Bureau of Standard, a workshop session where they had representatives of different countries and of various ministries in Trinidad and Tobago, from the Ministry of Energy, Ministry of Public Utilities, and various ministries were there. And in this workshop, you know, I told these technocrats that this is what should have been done because, you know, certain questions were being asked. How vehicles are so expensive in this country?
Yeah.
Why vehicles are so expensive in this country? It is because our taxes are very high in this country, and people's salaries are very low. Wages are very low, so they can only qualify for a certain bracket of vehicles. So instead of buying an electric vehicle, they will buy a cheaper vehicle that they can afford, that the bank would give them a loan for. And with regards to taxes, I mean, we have, once you cross 1599 cc's engine, which is a small vehicle. Remember, we don't manufacture vehicles in Trinidad, we import vehicles.
Yeah.
And the taxes would go beyond 100%. So if you see a car in the US for 12,000 US, you can go that car cheap, you know. But when it comes here, you have to double that price and more. You know, so if we are really looking, people talk about the car population, but remember, a car, right, is not something that will remain static. The car also is changing. Every year you have new technology coming out, and right now we are still behind. I mean, we are behind in a certain way. As I told you, I went out on a limb, and I have the most modern car that just came off the production line.
Yes.
But you would like to see this with all the sectors, and I was happy that the various ministries had representatives at that workshop.
Yeah, it's very rare that the ministers of the different line ministries actually meet with you. I know that you've sought meetings in the past, and you know they've not been quite so successful. But yesterday's meeting, I would say, was. Would you say it was a success?
The ministers, they had technocrats from the ministry, right? So if based on what the recommendations, based on the recommendations, and based on the persons who came from abroad and stuff like that, based on on the trend. If the ministers are really sincere in dealing with carbon emissions, then they would take these recommendations and they would put it into action immediately.
Yeah.
So I'm talking about Monday. I would be here. I'm looking forward to hear something with regards to vehicles with over 1599 cc and over 159 kilowatts. Some sort of additional exemption be given to these vehicles. I mean, we know the government have to get taxes. We are not saying to exempt all the taxes from all the vehicles, but you have to do something that would create change, that would change the perception on people's mind, and also have an education program, right, where people could learn about these type of vehicles, and there would be a great interest in it.
Yeah.
But we are not seeing this. We are not seeing this because it is not coming from the conglomerate. It is coming from a simple individual named Visham Babwah, and this is what they don't want to accept. In this country, we have inferiority, superiority issue, and if it did not come from the conglomerate, it means that it is not good.
Yeah.
And I'm facing that for the past 10 years. But I'm still able to get ahead and do what I have to do. You know, even with regards to getting meetings with the minister.
Yeah.
Over 1 month now, I have sent a letter to the Minister of Transport and to the Permanent Secretary with regards to some issues we are having with licensing office. And up to today, I have not gotten a response from any one of them. And these matters I'm telling you about is where we were taking like over 3 weeks to have a car registered.
That's a long time.
So you know, you have issues that are being dealt with, right? And it's being dealt with very slowly, or being swept under the carpet.
Yeah. And speaking about sweeping issues under the carpet, you would have also spoken about matters at the licensing office, something that has been in the public's domain for a long time, and we've seen it developed, and nothing has been done to kind of curb that.
Yes, the licensing office, licensing is a plague to this country. It is a plague to this country. And licensing office, I will say this publicly, is one of the most corrupt places in the face of this earth. I'm not talking in the face of this earth, because of the fact that if you want to become a millionaire, just get a work in licensing office. You don't have to have any formal education.
Is it that easy?
You could just be a tout. That is how a tout. You could be working for someone of the license office or something, and you collecting the money instead. That is how bad it has become a license office. You know, in the past, licensing office, they had one of the past transport commissioner who tried to computerize everything in licensing office, so they would get rid of the corruption, and that was sabotage. Currently, we have issues. We have a system in place, which is the PT BizLink and things like that. That is where they have the customs. We would have the Bureau of Standard, and we'd have other related agencies. When we are clearing a car, they could go online. And when they go online, your car would come in today, and by tomorrow you could have it released. They check the documents online. And I still can't understand why licensing office is not educated into that system. And this is why the system was developed.
Yeah.
So the licensing office would also come under that. So that would cut out the corruption that is involved. I mean, the government pride themselves with motor vehicle authority and all its laws and all the things they are going. But if it cannot integrate this system, there will be corruption left, right, center, and any transport commissioner comes in would follow the same line. Because the transport commissioner recently called me about a month and a half ago and told me they picked up on fraudulent documents. This is what he told me.
Oh, wow.
And they will be calling in a custom officer to double check the document, which would take 2 days. Now the transport commissioner called me and tell me that I cannot say no, because it would be as if I'm condoning corruption.
Yeah.
Right? So, and now he's going about saying that I am the one who is waiting for information from me with regards to this issue. It is totally false. It is totally false. He's now backpedaling because he's the transport commissioner, and if he told me you are going to take 2 days and double check the document, and from 2 days you move to 5 days and then 3 weeks. And now when I speak up about it, you're trying to throw the burden on me. You know, it is very disingenuous of him to come to try to put this on me and say, well, he's waiting on things from Babwah and Babwah. How I get cause a delay? You know, and this is what they continue to do. They continue to hide behind this shield and to purport their corrupt activities. Because anybody would know if you have a corruption, if you have picked up on documents that is fraudulent, right? You would call in the police. You will hear something about it in the courts, right? But we have heard nothing about it. So this is just a ploy created by them to create a backlog. So persons who are willing to pay to get their vehicle registered will do so.
Yeah.
And they will be forced to do so. So I'm calling for this system to be scrapped, because so far, a month and a half, I have not heard one person being charged, one person being hauled before the courts, or any report of any fraudulent activities. So this was just a system created by one person to create a backlog that would make other persons benefit financially from it. And the Transport Commissioner needs to get his act together. And he could come and he could say what he wants. But taking 3 weeks to license a vehicle is something has to be off. Since I highlighted it last week, Friday, on national television. Yesterday, all the documents that were lodged went down to the licensing office. So it took 6 days for hundreds of documents when I highlighted it. But before that, it was taking 3 weeks. What was the keep-up with the documents then? You understand? Only when I highlighted in national television, it took 6 days, and documents from the 25th now, people having license who could proceed to register the car. But you can't, when the document goes down to the license office, it is not an immediate thing. You don't have to take the car down, which will take a further 4 or 5 days before persons get their car. So we're still only the 2 weeks plus. And this is unacceptable. A process that was supposed to take 1 or 2 days will still take 2 weeks. So we have this system,
I'd imagine this would cause a level of inconvenience to you.
This is causing a lot of inconvenience to us. One, it is making us look like crooks. And the Transport Commissioner, and they do that because when people pay them for the cars, and they were supposed to get the car within 3 days, once 1 week go and 2 weeks go, what happens, they will begin to look at you as a scam. That you are running them around. You are telling them one day and then another day and then another day. And they are aware of this. They know this happens. Because a lot of reports has gone around in the media where people have scammed people of their money. And all these things are things we have to deal with. So a process that's supposed to take 2 days should take 2 days, not 2 weeks. So I'm calling on the Transport Commissioner.
Go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, I'm calling on the Transport Commissioner to either prove where you have picked up fraud, prove it, and this should be no secret. A report should be made to the police, the Ministry of Trade and Consumer Affairs, and the related ministry should be informed, and there should be a public statement that this person or this company has been involved in fraudulent activities, and they will be banned from importing cars. This is the only way we could say that something is being done, but we are not sure if customs is really checking the documents, or if they are just holding back all the documents, or which documents is being checked and which documents is not being checked. We are not sure. They have no transparency whatsoever in licensing office with regards to that.
And you're saying that this licensing of a car is supposed to take 2 days?
Yeah.
And it's now being extended to 3 weeks?
Yeah. And we got back documents, I told you, from the 25th of last month. We got documents yesterday back to license. But it will still take about 3 or 4 days. So this will still run into 2 weeks.
Wow.
You know, if you want to put a proper system, if you have persons you are put to uphold the law, the licensing officers are there to uphold the law, and if they are the ones breaking the law, and you have to bring a custom officer to be a watchman for those people, then we have a system that needs to be changed immediately. So I'm calling on the Minister of Works and Transport, Minister Rohan Sinanan, to look into this matter very, very, very urgently. Because after this week, you will see us like the teachers. We will have to protest also.
Wow. You raised an important issue just now in terms of scamming people into buying cars. How prevalent has this been of late?
This is very problematic because they have they have a certain category of persons who are not dealers. They are deemed just the middlemen, and they will advertise cars at very cheap prices. And I mean, people in Trinidad, I have been in the media many times. I've told people about it. Do not pay for a car if you did not see a car here.
Yeah.
They will pay them $40,000, $50,000 for the person to import the car for them because the person told them you can get a car $20,000 cheaper. And then they don't hear from the guy again. And this guy is not a legitimate car dealer registered with the Ministry of Trade. He's just a middleman. Right? And this is happening on a daily basis. I get calls very regular with regards to person losing money and they can't find the person with who they have paid down money to. So this is happening on a daily basis. That is why I told the minister that whenever, the Transport Commissioner, that whenever we have issues and where cars are being taken longer to register, cars are being taking a longer time to be registered, they will have to now make a statement with regards to this. They have to inform the public that cars are being taken 2 or 3 weeks. It will take this period of time to register now, because then it would cover us.
Let's talk a bit about.
Have to tell people that's a problem.
Yeah, let's talk a bit about the budget and in terms of gas prices. We know that gas prices have always been a thing. Every time the population hears about a budget upcoming, we panic. We think, okay, probably this time gas prices will be increased. Do you think that gas prices may be increased this year?
Well, they have the premium fuel. The government is experiencing a profit from that right now. We have not heard anything about that profit because gas prices are supposed to come down to fluctuate. Right? We have not heard anything. But with the super gas, they still have a small subsidy in the super gas, right? That they might want to take off. I heard Minister Franklin Khan speaking about cooking gas and talking about they are paying a $300 million subsidy on that. But you know what I have not heard anything about? I have not heard any one of them speaking about this CNG fuel, that they are wasting money, wasting time, wasting money for 40 years, wasting money behind that. That is more than $300 million. And why they you don't hear anything? Because that is one conglomerate bringing in a CNG car. So you have one company that the government is willing to put down lines and spend billions of dollars for just a few hundred cars, right? And they are not saying anything about the subsidy, but the subsidy that the lower class or middle class or whoever, everybody benefits from the LPG, right? And that is what you are talking about. I want to hear about the thousands of CNG kits that are being given away. And the CNG fuel has a subsidy to it also, which I have asked many years. I've been asking for how much is the subsidy on CNG fuel, but I have never gotten an answer. So if you're talking about removing subsidy, remove the subsidy from CNG also, and don't be giving away free kits, because if you give away, for this year, I believe 300 or 400 kits have been given away at $12,000 per kit. That would be about $48 million, something like that.
Yeah.
Right? And the amount of cars that we have that people went to change over to CNG, maybe it's about 2,000 or 3,000. In over 40 years, we have something like 7,000 CNG vehicles on the road. You are putting on an infrastructure for that. That has become obsolete now because people have moved to hybrid, electric, and e-power vehicles. In a matter of 2 or 3 years, I'm sure we have a bigger population of cars than that in a matter of 2 or 3 years, right? And this is the way the manufacturers has gone. So you know when they talk about subsidy in fuel and things like that, I have told them yes, you can remove the subsidy if they think that the subsidy, but give people options.
Yes.
Give them options. Instead of, if you have removed the subsidy, you no longer have to pay this. Then you can remove the taxes, some of the taxes, so it would be easier on people's pocket. They could charge their car at home. An electric car, for example, you could charge it at home. You wouldn't have to worry to go to the gas station again. You know, and these are the kind of things. So if the fuel subsidy is a problem, right, give people alternatives. And we have alternatives available. It's just which direction they want to send it to and they want to spend the money in.
I think, you know, most times things are done with an agenda.
Yes.
If, of course, one isn't benefiting the upper heads in any way, you know, it's always sidelined. The more feasible ideas are most of the times sidelined.
Yes.
So,
Yes. As I told you, Gil, a lot of years I've been singing this, about 7 or 8 years, because they have been talking about subsidy. The subsidy was $3 billion, $4 billion. But then they were forcing people to go that CNG way. And I told them, I said, that is not the way. CNG is not the way. Electric, hybrid, e-power, we have new technologies. I mean, today, the franchise dealers should be ashamed of themselves. You know why? Because it took a car dealer, a used car dealer like myself, to bring technology that they could have been bringing 10 years into the country, right? Because I have been bringing it since 2011. And they could have been bringing that even before me. And they are not doing it up to today. Why they are not doing it? That is the question needs to be answered. Why they are not bringing that technology? You know, so the government has to put some more emphasis on green fuel and things, on green energy and things like that. And then you will find that they won't have a talk about subsidy or where money is wasted and things like that. Because everything that benefits a small man, you will hear, is a waste of money. But much people don't speak about the billions of dollars that is being given away to the conglomerates. Many people don't hear about that, and people refuse to speak about that, maybe out of fear or out of victimization or anything like that.
Yeah.
They are afraid of that, but this is what is happening in this country, and we need people to understand and to see and to hold ministers and hold governments accountable. Don't just believe in changing government. Hold them accountable. Citizens have to hold them accountable, that when they go in a position, they will know that they are answerable.
Yeah. Mr. Babwah, before you wrap things up for today, I just wanted to get your comments, or your thoughts rather, on the acquisition of Petrotrin by the OWTU.
No, when the refinery was closed down, it was a very terrible thing to do, right, for any government to do, because based on what I've read, that was not the recommendations that were given to close the refinery down. The refinery could have been scaled down, right? Yes, there were wastage, there were corruption, but like everything else in this country, you have wastage and you need to get prudent management, you need to get proper managers, proper management, and you need to make people accountable. Now, I don't know who this new
Patriotic
buyer is, who they are really in consultation with, and if it will work. The problem here I am seeing is that when you have a refinery up and you have a private entity controlling this, prices are going to be, the prices would not be regulated as always regulated by the government. They can raise price today if they want and say, well, instead of $5.75 a liter of gas, we're going $6.75. And people have no choice but to pay for it. There are all sort of excuses, because the bottom line of that would be just profit.
Yeah.
It would just be profit. And that is why I've spoken about this in the past already. I said it would be about profit. And that is what would affect citizens. So you won't need a government then to come and say, look, we're taking away subsidy, you know. It will be up to a private board or an individual to say, you see this? I make $200 million this year. I want to make $300 million next year. So I am going to raise gas by $1 per liter more. And that is the frightening part about this. People might get back their jobs, things might happen, but as if it would be to play an important part with regards to the whole scenario. And this is what they have to look at. That's why sometimes something needs to remain in control, although in the government hands, because it could be controlled, and the government, based on the collect taxpayers' dollars, they can absorb a certain amount of loss. But a private company will not be able to absorb a loss or anything like that.
Okay. So
so we have to see how that plays off.
Okay, I guess time will tell in that case there.
Yes.
All right, Mr. Babwah, your closing comments today.
All right, my closing comments, we have a budget coming Monday, and I hope the government pay attention to a few areas, the crime, education, to this green initiative. I hope they pay attention, and they just don't bring it on. And as in 2016, when they gave exemption in 2017, they took it back. Whatever they have done, it must be so for a period of time that you can see the benefits of it. But these three areas, currently we are having serious issue with flooding and stuff like that. Although they are saying that the rivers have been dredged and things like that, no, it is what is happening with the climate. Things have changed. We have different projects, like housing projects and things that has gone on without proper drainage and stuff like that. You need all these things to be corrected. But for the budget, I would really like to see emphasis being placed on our climate, on our young children, on education, and on crime.
All right. All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Babwah, for joining us this morning.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Bye.
All right. And that was a conversation there with the president of the Used Car Dealers Association, encouraging the government and encouraging citizens on the whole to be more aware of climate change in this country. And as we know, it affects everyone, so something to consider in this budget, of course. Coming up after this break, we will be chatting a bit with former Minister of Health, Dr. Fuad Khan, and shortly after we'll be touching base with Mr. Clifton Simpson, who is in studio right now. So he'll be joining us a little bit later on set. Stay with us.